Right, this is going to rustle some feathers. Okay. So I watched a very good video yesterday that James from Bold Finds put out, and it was a video in response to a comment that somebody had left on his channel saying YouTube resellers are ruining the YouTube business for everybody. And he posted quite an emotional response to it. But I think today what I want to do is put a really objective look on the situation. We're going to go through the facts, we're going to go through the fiction, and we're just going to talk about it objectively. I think we're going to rustle some feathers today, but I hopefully people will think that I'm not doing it maliciously. I just think this is an objective look at the conversation. James did offer responses as well, so I hope that he watches this video. It doesn't take any offense to it, because I've met James a bunch of times and I've been on his channel and we've spoken a few times, so I hope that he doesn't really feel that this is just an attack on him, because it's really not. It's not an attack on the reselling community at all. But let's face it, right? Most of the YouTube resellers have been into reselling since the boom of COVID. Right? So that means most people have been in the business for less than 5 years or less, right? Now, it's interesting to see what people's journeys are, but I think it's important to know as well that if you've only been in the reselling business since the COVID boom, then you don't actually remember what it was like before then to actually even comment on what the effect the YouTubers have had on the business. Now, if you want a short answer to the question, we're already 2 minutes in. If you want a short answer to the question, the answer is yes, YouTubers are ruining the reselling business. It's categorical, it cannot be disputed, it is categorically happening. Now, that's the short answer. We're going to explore it a little bit more over the next, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes or however long it takes. And we're going to talk about a few points for why I think it has ruined the reselling business. Now, if we go back to 2010, some of you will be able to go back this far. I think George Ross may be able to go back as far as this. Nick and Andrea Hills, I'm pretty sure will. Pete from the Vinegar Jar, I'm pretty sure he's been going for as long as that. Car Boot Chris as well, possibly. But a lot of these newer YouTube resellers that have come up have only been in the business for 5 years or less. So like I say, they don't really remember what it was like back before then. So let's go back to 2010. I remember being able to just sit on Gumtree all day, and I'd just order video games consoles. Oh, hi, you got a video game console for sale? Can I buy it, please? Yeah. Pay for postage, get it shipped to me. Everything just used to be done by PayPal. And that stuff sells quick, as everybody knows. It used to go straight on. It would sell more or less straight away. You'd ship it out. You'd get more consoles. And I'd get about 5 a day, something like that. Fast forward to 2025, Gumtree is non-existent. It's not even a platform that people use anymore. And video games consoles are increasingly hard to get. Everybody knows this. It's been happening at boot sales for a very, very long time. I think over the course of the last year, there wasn't a great number of bundles that I picked up at boot sales, to be honest with you, but it's not something that I look out for anymore, because it's just, it's low-hanging fruit, as people like to say. But yeah, you can't do that anymore. If we go back to 2010 as well, I remember boot sales used to be very, very cheap. Everything was £1, £2. Fast forward to 2025, the prices are starting to increase. You're getting a lot of £5, a lot of £10 now. People even asking £20 for things, 25 quids and things like that. And you really have to know your stuff to warrant spending 25, 20 quid on an item, because there's quite a lot of items, right? Usually you'd be able to buy 20 items for 20 quid. So why would I buy an item for 20 quid? But yeah, I think, James answered his own question in his own video, right? When he said, if I hadn't have seen George Ross's videos or Nick and Andrea Hill's videos, I would still be in recruitment. And I think, that is the answer to your own question. You've answered it, inadvertently yourself. If you hadn't have seen a YouTube video from George Ross or Nick and Andrea Hills, you would still be in recruitment. So, yeah, directly, those videos have brought you into the space alongside many other people, of course. And now you're making YouTube videos and now telling everybody else about it. So That's the kind of knock-on effect that it's had, right? Now, if you actually look at the prices of things at boot sales have gone up. The prices of things in charity shops have also gone up as well. And I noticed that every single YouTube reseller at the moment is talking about the prices of charity shops, the prices of charity shops. Now, the reason why the prices in charity shops are absolutely crazy is because the people that work in charity shops, guys, right, watch your videos. So when you're going into a charity shop and you say, oh, let's pick up a random item. Oh, look, this Panasonic, I've no idea how much this is worth, but this Panasonic camera, you know, that's worth 50 quid. And usually charity shops have got these out for a £5. But now they're looking them up on eBay and they're saying these are worth 75 quid because some nutcase has got it up for 75 quid. It's never going to sell for that. So they've increased the price of it. Now, on the door of most charity shops in my area, they've got a note on the door saying not accepting any more donations. And do you know why that is? It's because when you walk in there, they've got the same shit in there from 3 months ago. It's still the same higher price that nobody's ever going to buy that for. And that's why they've got a door saying no more donations. So the whole game has completely changed over the last 5 years. Completely. A lot of the watering holes that used to have are very, very there's a lot of competition in there now. If we go back to, if George Ross is watching this, you'll remember Rettendon boot sale, yeah, and how great that boot sale was. I think Be Lucky as well used to go there. In fact, I know Be Lucky used to go there because we was watching a video once, and he actually walked up to a stall of mine. We was like selling some junk, and he actually came up to the stall and bought something off us. So he would remember that boot sale as well. But what a great boot sale! That's unfortunately shut down now. Back then everything was £1, everything was £2. Now the prices are creeping up in the boot sales, in the charity shops, all of these places that you like to resell, and all of these people that are watching these videos, and decide to become a reseller, or even just watch the videos for entertainment. How many of these people do you think are now going to their boot sales and selling their stuff for £1 instead of sticking it on eBay for the price that it's supposed to be, right? I think we need to wake up, and we do need to realise that these YouTube videos do have an impact on the reselling community and the market as a whole. We can be very defensive and say, if I want to do it, I can do it. Well, yeah, of course, no one is saying that you can't do it. But I think what people are saying is that it is having an effect, and it's undoubtedly having an effect. I watch George Ross's videos. I mainly watch them because we go to the same boot sales, so I like to see what sort of stuff he picked up that I missed. Do not get it twisted. George, by putting that stuff in his video, is giving me that information, who's a direct competitor to George, and as a result, I might now get in front of him to pick up that item. It's definitely undeniable that it's getting tougher at boot sales. Don't get me wrong, when I go to a boot sale, we take like 500-600 quid with us, and my aim is to spend it all. We usually do, and we usually fill up the car, but I'm not picking up the low-hanging fruit stuff that we used to be able to pick up years ago. All of them days of just turning up and finding Super Nintendo games and all that, those days are gone. We know what resellers are like, right? Let's be honest, guys. Resellers are like flies on shit, just like that comment said. They are like a plague of locusts. If you've ever been to Chelmsford Park and Ride, right? George Ross goes there, Be Lucky goes there. I know a bunch of other people go there, but you know what it's like, right? It's 5 minutes to 9, right? Everybody's waiting. Now, let me picture this, right? Everybody's got to stand across the road to the boot sale, right? Nobody's allowed to cross the line until 9 o'clock. They blow a whistle, and when they do, people run across this road in front of traffic, right? And you'll see these people run to the first stall that has a sliver of green in it because they think, oh my god, Xbox games, look, I'm going to run in front of this traffic and I'm going to get these Xbox games. And when they get there, it's all just fucking Call of Duty, FIFA and all that shit anyway. So people are like running across the road to get to this low-hanging Xbox 360 junk. And that is what the situation is like, right? If you go to other boot sales, Boreham especially is terrible for this. any new car that's pulling up, there's like 10 geezers all crowding around the boot. Oh, you got any of this? You got any of that? Fucking, that is the most cringe shit I've ever seen in my life, right? It's just terrible. And do you know what? It actually shows the inexperience that some of these people have, right? Is that if you're really crowding around someone's car, have you got any video games? You got any video games? Oh man, like, you know, just let these people breathe. Like, you turn people off from wanting to do a boot sale. They all complain about you. And anyway, so yeah, the people that are doing these videos are bringing more people to the boot sales. More people are getting the idea that this stuff is worth more than what I'm selling for it at the boot sale. Now, eBay done a massive push to try and get these people to go straight to eBay instead of going to a boot sale, and they wanted and they gave everybody the 0% commission. And I remember during that 0% commission, so many people on the YouTube community were saying, this is ridiculous. Why do they get 0%? Now there's going to be an influx of sellers and there's going to be massive competition and all of these people, blah, 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 blah. Yes, that's the same. That is the same effect as what YouTube videos have on the reselling business. Every single person that watches a video and becomes a reseller, like James, like any of these new people that have come up on Instagram, for example, any of these new people are no longer, they're not just resellers, they're no longer boot sale sellers. They're no longer going to be turning up to boot sales for £1, selling their stuff for £1, £2, when they know they can stick it on eBay and make the money. Right? That's just obvious. It's not even up for debate. This is very, very, very obvious. Yeah. Now let me give you another example of this, right? The Pokemon market over the last 5 years has been insane. The new influx of businesses who are signing up to start selling Pokemon cards and all that sort of stuff is insane. Businesses complain about the lack of availability of product. That's how hard it is to get Pokemon now, guys. There's so many people out there selling Pokemon that it's just hard to get the product now. You don't get the allocations that you used to be able to get or that you want. And that is a direct, the reason for that is directly because more people are getting into the Pokemon market now. More people are looking at platforms like Whatnot, for example, and Whatnot eats through products at such an alarming rate because of the number of people on Whatnot that see oh look, it's really easy. You can just buy packs and people buy them off you on Whatnot. You open them, so you actually have the fun of opening them anyway, and people pay you for it. And there's a massive influx of people that are going onto Whatnot now, and you know, selling packs of cards and that sort of stuff, and it's drying up the supply even more. If you're not in the Pokemon business, at the moment there is a massive, massive, massive rush for the new set that's come out, Prismatic Evolutions, and straight out the gate is over MSRP. There's a lot of talk about it, a lot of anger and all that sort of stuff. So the Pokemon market is very, very saturated at the moment. There's thousands and thousands of new stores in the UK, or new people or sellers in the UK that have made the market very, very difficult to manage. Now, I was actually going to make a video like this a couple of weeks ago because I saw something that really, really pissed me off, right? And it's something that the YouTube or the content creating reselling community does. And it is just trading pennies for pounds, guys. Like, we need to stop. We need to think about what we're posting, right? Some YouTubers have just got such an ego for content that they are more than happy. Like, let me give you an example, right? This is completely unrelated to ego, right? This is, please, yeah. So I've seen over the last couple of years, I'll mention George Ross because, you know, somebody that I watch his videos all the time. You know, I've spoken to him a few times. We've met each other at the boot sales. We do go to the same boot sales stuff. So hope he doesn't mind me name checking him here. But his videos, for example, about the clearances in TK Maxx or the clearances in Dunelm and stuff like that, right? Putting that sort of stuff on YouTube is kind of the thing that I mean. And it's, you know, as soon as you make a video saying, look, you can go into TK Maxx, they've got all this super markdown stuff that's like 99% off, and you can go in there and make loads of money, and it's brilliant. You know, there's a lot of people in the area that me and George Ross live, in like the general area, that are resellers. There's a huge, huge influx. There's a lot of people in our area that watch George Ross's videos purely because he's in the same area as him and they see him at boot sales, right? Now, all of those people as well watching those TK Maxx videos, and they all go out there and they see that TK Maxx is a great place to go and source cheap products, right? And now George Ross, I'm guessing, is having a lot more competition at these TK Maxx's, at these Dunelms, because of those videos that he's put onto YouTube. I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? This has to be happening. You know, this has to be. I mean, James, for example, I think he even mentioned yesterday in his video about TK Maxx. Now, I'm pretty sure James didn't know about TK Maxx probably before George Ross's video, which is proving my point, right? That is the point. If George hadn't done that video, James wouldn't have known about it. James wouldn't have then done a video about it and then told, you know, however many subscribers, people that watch his videos about it as well. And yeah, the one that pissed me off though was I saw a post on Instagram a little while ago, and it was, you can buy this, you can go to this website and buy these for £10, and then you can go onto eBay and sell them for £80, right? And I'm just like, why are people doing this? Right? Are you that like hungry to make content and to get likes and that sort of stuff that you have to tell people that there's a gold, you know, like a vein of gold ore, or like an oil reservoir that's just untapped by loads of people, and you can go there and you can spend £10 and make £80 out of it? The reason why you can go there and spend £10 and make £80 is because nobody knows about it. If you tell everybody, right? If you tell 20,000 people that you can go there and make, you know, buy something for £10 and sell it for 80, I guarantee you, I promise you, to a million, I will bet the house on it, right? That all of a sudden you'll start to see the prices on that website start creeping up from £10 to 15 to 20 to 25. And then all of a sudden, because everybody's selling this shit now, the prices that you can sell it for are going down and down and down, from 80 to 75 to 70 to 65. And all of a sudden you're buying things for 30 quid and selling them for 65. All because someone said on Instagram, you can go on this website and buy it for 10 and sell it for 80. That only works, guys, because we are the only ones that know. Run out of space there, right? So yeah, that's, you know, this is a no-brainer. Of course, this only works because you are the only person that knows about it. If you tell 10,000 people, especially resellers who are notorious for just being completely like, one, you know, like I say, they'll run in front of traffic just to get to a stall first. You know, that's what it's like. We know what these people are like. You give them a source of information, they jump straight on it. I'll give you another example. Who remembers the Question of Sport Mike Tyson card, right? Now, I remember I remember years ago, right, being on Vinegar Jar Pete. I can't remember what his new name is now. Sorry, Pete. I'm really, really sorry. But Vinegar Jar Pete, I remember him saying on a stream a little while ago, he knew about the Mike Tyson Question of Sport card ages ago, right? But he would never tell anybody on his YouTube channel because he knows what these resellers are like. Now, fast forward, you had every YouTuber, you know, once the cat was out of the bag on this card, every single YouTuber was making videos about it, right? That Mike Tyson card was £500 plus raw, right? People in America were getting it shipped from the UK because it's the only place it was available to get that card, £500 raw, to the US. Everybody started making videos on it. And I remember Brum Reseller, sorry to name check again, but Brum Reseller got a card. He sent it off to PSA. He paid the express value on it, and by the time he got the card back the prices on these things had dropped so dramatically that it wasn't even worth him sending this card off, right? So it's another great example of why you just shouldn't give YouTubers this well, not YouTubers, but any reseller this information, because they can't keep their mouths shut. They just have to go in, and they can't just be content with a good thing, you know. They have to tell everybody about it, and that's fine. I think if that's something that you want to do, you're more than welcome to do that. But I don't think that we can then say, that's what I want to do, and then also say that you aren't hurting the reselling business. Because I've given multiple examples today for why it is hurting the reselling business. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't really care. The boot sales are a very small part of my business. I haven't even been to a boot sale since last year. But we have to be objective. We have to look at the facts. We try not to be emotional about these things, even if you disagree or agree. It's good to look at these things, talk about them honestly. I think James has invited responses, so I hope he doesn't take any offence to this sort of stuff. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. But I think one thing that does need to be discussed, right, is over the next 10 years, the reselling business is going to change dramatically. It's going to change massively, right? There's going to be a massive influx of people losing their jobs over the next 10 years, right? Mainly due to AI. Now, as AI flushes out these people's jobs and they don't have anything to do, they don't have new jobs to go on to, they will start looking at other ways to make money. Now, just like a lot of people that got into this business during COVID because they had lost their jobs, weren't getting paid their full wage, weren't getting paid at all because they were temps or whatever, they were looking at ways to make money. A lot of those people have come in since COVID and are now full-time resellers. If you go back to 2010, if you can remember back that far, remember what your boot sale was like. Maybe 1,000 people walking around. Go forward to 2020, maybe there's 2,000 people walking around. Go to 2035, when you've got 10,000 people walking around your boot sale because no one's got a job anymore, because AI has taken over everything. And I know this sounds very, very far-fetched, right? But we need to think about this logically, right? AI is going to be taking over people's jobs. People will always look for the easiest way to make money. The path of least resistance is always the most attractive. Reselling is it's a path of least resistance. Let's be honest with us, guys, right? There is hard work involved in this, depending on how hard you want to push yourself with it. But I think overall, it's not the same as sitting at a desk 9 to 5 or lugging around shit in a wheelbarrow, right? That's the bottom line of it. And we need to think about how many people are going to be joining the reselling community over the next 10 years as AI pushes in. And I would imagine that this line of work is going to become very, very saturated. So it's definitely something to be thinking about. Another thing that George Ross posted on a video yesterday, he was talking about, imagine what it's going to be like in 20 years' time when, people are walking around picking up old clothes from the 80s, 70s, maybe the 90s, stuff that's well made, nice denim or nice, nice leather jackets and stuff like that. And he was saying how, imagine in 20 years' time, it's all just going to be Primark shit and Shein and, Temu and all this just random crap, because people don't really buy stuff for longevity anymore, and these companies don't make stuff for longevity anymore. Everything's we're in a very throwaway society now. So in 20 years' time, what sort of things are you going to be seeing on people's stalls? All right, so you're going to have basically poor quality clothes. Games consoles. Well, games consoles would be great too, surely, right? You'll have PS4s, PS5s. Oh, wait a minute. When you put the game in, you have to download the game? Oh, so what happens when they shut down the servers for that console or for that game? You won't be able to play them? Oh, right. So those games consoles are going to be pretty useless then, aren't they? All right, so we can't sell clothes. We're not going to be selling games consoles. What about toys? He-Man? Who's still looking at He-Man? Who's still looking at Ninja Turtles? Who's still looking at Power Rangers? Even in today, it's still very, very niche collectibles. You fast forward 20 years, when people that are my age that were into that sort of stuff have completely grown out of it. They're in their pensionable age now, and they don't really care about this stuff anymore. The kids of today will grow up, and they'll be looking back at the toys that they used to play with, and it's all shit. There's no decent branding anymore. There's no, if you think back to the 90s, and you had Marvel and Spider-Man, and you had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, Biker Mice from Mars, and all of these recognizable toys that people still think back and remember today. But I don't think they're going to have that in 20 years. I don't actually see a revival of this stuff from 2020, from the 2020s. I don't see a revival for this stuff. Kids today aren't really playing with toys anyway, and they're playing with iPads and iPhones, and they're on TikTok and all that sort of stuff. Well, even an iPhone in 20 years' time is going to be useless. You know, you're not even going to be able to access the App Store on it. All of our technology is just becoming defunct. So I think the next 10 years is really, really going to sort the men out from the boys in the reselling community. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see how much it has been affected. Now, I'm already forward thinking, and I'm already thinking about this, and, you know, trying to... Well, I'm not going to give too much information away because I know what you people are like. I know what you people are like. So, yeah, that's my objective look on the matter, guys. Like I said, I don't really care what the answer is. I do think that it is, you know, directly hurting the reselling business, though, and that is an undeniable fact. It cannot even be denied. And I think James kind of even proves that in his own response to that comment, where he said, you know, if it's something that I want to do, I will do it. Well, yeah, but that's not the purpose of this discussion. The purpose of this discussion isn't free will. It's, is it hurting the community? Well, not the community, but is it hurting the business? And I think the answer's demonstrably today been yes. I've given many, many examples for how it used to be against how it is now. And let me know in the comments, what do you think? Am I talking shit? I hope I haven't offended anybody. But I think it's something that does need to be discussed. I'm not really part of this YouTube clique. I mean, I've been part of this community for longer than some of these YouTubers have been, and I'm still not part of this clique. What the hell is going on? But I don't really care. I'm just here just to do my thing, to run my business. You know, we do lots of stuff, we sell lots of stuff, and you know, I don't really care what the answer is. I just thought it'd be an interesting topic. I do care about, though, people posting on bloody Instagram saying you can buy this for £10 off this website. This website is like a waterfall. All you have to do is hold your cup under it, and it fills up with money, right? Please stop posting videos like that, guys. Right? You know, it's very egotistical. The cat's out of the bag on boot sales now. Do your little boot sale walk rounds and that sort of stuff. Show everybody what you've got and all that sort of thing. That's entertainment, right? But putting out like information like that is the exact reason why places like Gumtree are just completely defunct now. It's just impossible to find any of this stuff. You go on eBay and you try and do your you try and do some sourcing on there, and it's much, much harder than it used to be, guys, because the number of resellers now has exponentially exploded, and it's undeniable that this is the case. But let me know in the comments, guys, what do you think? Am I talking shit? Go check out the site, don't be tight, and God, I hope this hasn't ruffled too many feathers.